Reaction Watch. Here on the John Campea YouTube channel, we are here tonight watching the reactions, coming in, flying in, about the new Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, John Campea, and it is great to have you guys joining me here tonight. Hello to everybody there in the live chat. Good to have you guys here. And yeah, we are here to talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness reaction watch. There are people watching this movie right now. I, of course, saw the first 20 minutes of this movie last week. The first 20 minutes were just unbelievable, bonkers, wild, fantastic. It was great to see, but the full movie is being shown tonight in Los Angeles. I'm not there tonight. I am here in Riverside hanging out with you guys tonight. I'll probably be at the premiere for Thor, but I wasn't at the one for Doctor Strange. But that's why we can do Reaction Watch. And we are waiting here now anxiously for the first reactions to come pouring in here tonight. And it's good to have you guys joining me here. And we're basically just going to talk about Doctor Strange 2 tonight. That's it. We're going to talk Doctor Strange 2. We're going to talk about the reactions from Doctor Strange 2 as they come pouring in. Now, the movie should be over any minute now because I believe that the movie was supposed to start at 6. At these premieres, it always starts like a half hour or so late. So that means, and the movie's a little over 2 hours, so that means people should be getting out pretty soon. So if you guys find legitimate reactions coming out, do me a favor and email me at john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's john@thejohncampeashow.com, and email me links to those things so we can bring up those reactions and start talking about the reactions to this thing as they start flying in. Now, Rob and me and Chris and Ray, we're going to go see Doctor Strange on Thursday afternoon. Of course, we'll give you our first reaction out of the theater in a couple of days when we do that. But tonight, we're looking for some reactions coming out of Doctor Strange, and we're glad you guys are here joining us. Now, as we sit around and wait for these reactions to come in, I'm going to let you guys know that in just a little bit, I will open up the super chats. However, please know that we are here to talk about Doctor Strange tonight. I am not looking for show names for my show. I am not looking for your thoughts on Morbius. We are not looking to answer questions about who should play the new James Bond. We are here to talk about Doctor Strange. So if you want to talk about Doctor Strange, bring up a thought, theory, opinion, observation, ask a question, whatever, and you want to send in a super chat to do that, by all means, send that in. If you ask a non-Doctor Strange related question, there is a decent chance I may just skip over it and not answer it. I'm just letting you guys know that because everybody's here to talk about Doctor Strange, nothing else. And that's what we are going to do here today. So once again, if you guys come across, just look at the pinned comment right there at the top of the live chat. If you guys come across the first reactions as they start to spill in, do fire them off to me at john@thejohncampeashow.com, and we will report those to everybody as they come in, and we will talk about it. And I'm very, very excited about that. Now, listen, I've already got one come in here from one of our channel members, Chris Barcinas, who is a director level in our channel. And thank you for being a member, Chris. He wrote in, since Professor X is riding his yellow hovercraft in the TV spot, does this mean the X-Men animated series is canon? No, it does not. It does not mean it's not canon. But just because they're doing something similar that we recognize, that does not mean that is from the animated show. No, it could be from 1,500 other different realities. So I would say that it certainly does not exclude the idea that the X-Men animated stuff is canon, but just because this Professor X is riding a yellow hovercraft, kind of, similar to the one that they had in the anime thing, that does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that means that the cartoon is canon. Doesn't mean that at all. Again, it doesn't completely discount it or take it away entirely, but it doesn't mean that that's what's going to be happening here. So anyway, guys, listen, good to have you here. We are now going to go over and open up the super chats. I'm not going to leave them open for terribly long. And remember, we are only here to discuss specifically Doctor Strange 2. So you got thoughts, opinions, whatever about Doctor Strange 2, you can send those in. And by the way, even before we opened up the super chats, Marvel Mania sent in a super chat badge just to be supportive. Thank you, Marvel Mania. I appreciate that very much. And it is good to have all you guys here. By the way, I hope you guys saw the John Campea Show earlier today. You can tell I'm in my new office. We did the show from the new studio today. Had a few technical glitches, I should say. Had a few technical glitches, but we were able to power through it, and we got through the show, and I thought we had a pretty good show today. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy the new set, and it allows me to focus more on the show, so that's great. By the way, Arthur de Montcalm sends in a super chat badge as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, we've got one from one of our channel members here, Calvin Cervero Pano, who is a producer level of our membership. Good to have you here, Calvin. He writes, I was watching the red carpet video and I loved Sam Raimi answering the best innovation in the movie in relation with the Spider. Okay, let me try this again. I was watching the red carpet video and I love Sam Raimi answering that the best innovation in the movie in relation with the Spider-Mans was that now with Zoom, he can show his vision to everyone at once. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. If he's just talking about the fact that Sam Raimi doesn't have to travel around the country to meet with all the different executives, and he can sit down over, a video conferencing thing and share his vision. If you mean by that, then that's great, because that's not something that was around when, at least not readily available, when he was making like the first Spider-Man film back in, what was it, like 2002 or something like that? You're right. That is a completely different innovation. Josh Lasota sends in a super chat badge as well to be supportive. Thank you, Josh. And now we've got the super chats really pouring in here. So let's get on over and see what you guys are saying in the super chats. Okay. We are going to start off here with, where are we starting here? We are starting with, that was Josh. The Robo Producer sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, Robo Producer. Bam Aham Yum writes, I don't know anything about the America Chavez character, so I'm excited to see her involvement in the film and her connection to the larger MCU. Listen, I will tell you one thing about her that was really awesome, and that was her whole attitude is great. Like, we get a lot of America Chavez in the first, like, say, in the first 20 minutes of the film that we got to see. A lot of her, right? And everybody that was at CinemaCon fell in love with her character. Like, her character's got great swagger and great attitude, and the way she communicates and her interactions with Doctor Strange are really great. So yeah, everybody liked her character a lot, as did I. Okay. Next up, we got Big D Studios Entertainment, who writes, I saw some images from Doctor Strange. It spoiled a tiny bit for myself, but I'm not upset. It looks amazing. I'm not surprised by what I saw in a good way. P.S. Game week. Yeah, what do we got tomorrow night? We've got Moon Knight finale tomorrow night. We got Doctor Strange this week. It's a huge thing. Yeah, look, I saw the spoiler things too. Honestly, am I happy that I saw them? No, but it doesn't ruin anything. Like, when what are in those images happens in the movie, I'm going to be just as excited and have just as much fun, and I'm going to hoot and holler just as much, and other people feel differently, and that's cool. But for me, it really doesn't affect me at all very much. All right. Let's see. By the way, I'm only going to leave super chats open here for another minute, guys, because we're already almost full up on all the super chats. So if you've got more, and we expect the first reactions to be coming in here any second now. So we're keeping our eyes open for that. Once again, guys, if you guys see any tweets, whatever, of some legitimate people coming out of these screenings and giving their first reactions, email them to me right away at john@thejohncampeashow.com, and we can start sharing those with everybody. Okay, the next one up we've got is from, who was it? That was Big D Studios, yes. CJ Rebirth writes, can't wait to see Multiverse of Madness at the El Capitan on Thursday. That's a great place to go watch it, man. I hope you have a really good time. That's a fun theater. Terrible chairs, but a great theater. Sam Phillip writes, have you been spoiled on anything in the movie? Well, yes. You guys remember a couple of months ago, Rob and I had a couple of very big, significant things revealed to us about the movie. And we didn't share them. We didn't talk about them. So, yeah, but you know what? That's fine. I mean, it's fine. Look, I also have footage of Gore the God Butcher. On this computer, I have footage of Gore the God Butcher. But we ain't sharing it with anybody. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I accidentally made with those Spider-Man images, but I'm not doing that again. Yeah, we found out a whole bunch of stuff, but you know what? It's okay. It's cool. I know it's going to be a great movie. And even if I found out about some stuff in advance, it's not going to ruin my movie going experience. All right. Batager Play writes, is it possible that Supreme Doctor Strange can be a part of the Illuminati and Captain Carter from What If? Yeah, of course it's possible. It's absolutely possible. I mean, this is the Multiverse of Madness, which means anybody can. I mean, literally anybody can appear in this thing. And I don't think this is a legitimate one. No, this isn't legit. So we'll close this one up. Somebody just sent in a reaction, but it's not a legit one. So we'll just close that out. Not that the person was trying to troll me. I think they thought it was a legit one. It's not a legit one though. Okay. But yes, absolutely, that's possible. I don't know that they will, but it is possible. All right, next up, we got Bradley Smith who writes, do you think Joaquin Phoenix is a strange variant? No, I don't think that at all. I mean, anything is possible for sure. I'm not saying it's completely impossible, but do I think that's what's going to happen? No. Billy Hammock writes, one of two. Don't know if anyone else is, but I am definitely managing my expectations for the cameos in the movie. I feel that people are so hyped about it that it may... And I'll be honest with you, Billy, I may not find your second one. Oh, there it is. Okay. I may lead to disappointment if there aren't a certain amount of cameos or if certain characters aren't introduced to the MCU by way of people have been wanting to see them. I've never understood that. Cameos they're fun, but ultimately they're useless. Don't get me wrong. I get a big kick out of the right cameo. I do. I get a big kick out of the right cameo here or there. But cameos are ultimately just empty calories. They don't really mean anything. They have no substance to them. They don't really add to a story. They're just like, ooh, look, there's so-and-so. Woo! And that's fine. But it really doesn't mean anything. They certainly don't make movies better, but that's just me. By the way, Aaron Epstein, one of our director level members of our channel. Thank you, Aaron, for being one of our members, writes in, how many Doctor Strange variants do you expect to see in the movie? My guess would be 5. That's what I'm going with 5. I'm not basing that on anything, but you're asking me how much would I guess? My guess, Aaron, is going to be 5. And once again, thanks for being a channel member, man. All right. Sam Fisher writes, Doctor Strange's new weapon in Multiverse of Madness, the Axe of Zaslav. Of course, we talked about that on the show today. The Axe of Zaslav has started to fall over Warner Brothers in DC. They cut Batwoman. They cut Legends of Tomorrow. They cut the Wonder Twins movie. The Axe of Zaslav is strong and powerful, ladies and gentlemen. You watch, see what that guy does over there at Warner Brothers. He's going to be a great boss over there. Ismail Montoya writes, hey, John, how many Illuminati are there? Is it assumed that there are only one group that can compose it? Well, I mean, if you're talking about in the movies, I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be 5 or 6 or 7 or 17 or 25. I mean, we simply don't know. Now you can say, well, in the trailer, we saw only a certain number of seats. That's true, but who's to say that's the only set of seats? There could have been 5 other sets of seats around, right? So at this point, I'm not really sure. And my guess is probably going to be 6. That's my guess, keeping it close to what is in the comic book. So my guess is going to be 6. All right. What are we at here? Caden writes, let's effing go, baby. I mean, it's time. It is reaction watch time. So we're getting ready again. And we expect these reactions to start coming in any minute now, anytime in the next 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes. So we're going to keep our guys' eyes open. Once again, guys, if you come across some legitimate ones, whether it's from anybody at the premiere or one of the other screenings, simply email me a link to it. Even if it's a tweet, email me a link to it at john@thejohncampeashow.com, and we'll get reporting on those. All right. As we all sit around here together and watch out for these reactions. All right. Arthur Eldon writes, hey, John, love your show. Thank you so much, Arthur. Just wanted to send in support, express my undying excitement for this film. In Raimi We Trust. It was really, really exciting to see that we had Sam Raimi coming back into the comic book world fold, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I would have preferred if Scott Derrickson had directed the second one like they planned, because he did a great job with the first one. And, you know, with his horror roots and everything. But with him being gone, Sam Raimi is kind of a perfect replacement. Also a guy who's got roots in comic book superhero movies, but with the horror element side to it as well. It was great to hear that. And it's going to be exciting to see what he does with this movie. All right. Chris Barcinas writes, do you have any guesses on who is going to be on the Illuminati? Thanks for doing Reaction Watch. I like doing Reaction Watch. And, you know, at this point, you know, I've seen the leak stuff too, so I'm not going to give guesses when we actually know some of the people. And, you know, I don't want to be spoiling anything for anybody right here who are trying to avoid those leaks and stuff like that. So I'll just say I can't answer the question, but I had my theories going in just like everybody else, Chris. Obviously, Professor X is definitely going to be one of them. Some version of Iron Man has always been one of the theories, right? Just like in the comic books, a version of Black Panther was also one of my guesses. So, I mean, we'll see how close those come once we get in there and see it. All right, next up, Billy Hammock writes, Oh, we already had Billy Hammock. Okay, next up. Rich1138 writes, thanks for the awesome content, John. Oh, thank you so much for that, Rich. We're having fun doing it here. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Cubby Jack writes, did Danny Elfman bring back a Giacchino's Doctor Strange theme from what you saw? You know what? I couldn't tell you. I honestly don't know. I cannot remember. I was so focused on the action on screen. And you know what? That's a testament to the music, because a lot of times the music shouldn't be noticed. The music should be it should match the scenery and what's going on so perfectly and draw you into the scene so perfectly that you almost don't even notice the music. That's when the music's really doing its job. And I honestly can't tell you the answer to that. I don't know off the top of my head. It's a great question though, Cubby. All right. King Tane writes, I always looked at the end of Loki. Hold on a second. I just got a little bit mixed up here. I always looked at the end of Loki as different from the multiverse. But Feige said tonight that the end of Loki made this multiverse in Strange possible. I'm confused. Yeah, I'm confused too, because there are some clear contradictions, right? Rob brought a couple of them up last week before we went to CinemaCon. Like, Rob did a really good job laying out some of the clear contradictions. Unless you understand that what multiverse is in Loki is different from what multiverse is in Doctor Strange, because multiverse has been around, according to the Ancient One, the multiverse has been around a long time, long before the events of Loki. So I'm not really sure what Kevin Feige was talking about, but we'll have to see in the movie. We'll have to wait and see in the movie and see how that all kind of shakes out in the end. All right. Thanks for that, King Tane. Joey Blue Jay writes, Kevin Feige on the red carpet said Loki and Sylvie caused the events in No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness happen. Again, there are several things that contradict that. But I'm not going to say, Kevin Feige's stupid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, let's wait and let's see Doctor Strange 2. Maybe it'll all make a lot more sense. Because again, on its surface, there's a lot of contradictions there. There's a lot of contradictions there on the surface that maybe Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness itself kind of explains. So listen, Kevin Feige has earned the benefit of the doubt, right? Like 1,000 times over, he's earned the benefit of the doubt. So let's see what happens there. All right. Let's see. Double B Studios writes, congrats on the new studio. Thank you so much, man. We are loving our new studio. We really are. All right. Abraham Ruiz writes, I doubt it, but any indication of Loki ties into Doctor Strange 2 based on what you saw at CinemaCon? None. Rewatching Doctor Strange 1 and WandaVision, can't wait. Yeah, none. But understand, we saw about 1/5 of the movie, right? We saw about 1/5 of it, which means there's a full 4/5 that we haven't seen yet. So I can say that from what we saw, absolutely zero indication of anything Loki related. But again, that's coming from somebody who only watched 1/5 of the movie. So we'll see if we are singing a different tune after we watch the whole thing, Abraham. Thanks for writing that in. All right. Hayden Wilson writes, watch the premiere. Made me happy to see how excited Sam Raimi was talking about the movie. Can't wait. And listen, it's been a long time since Sam Raimi has been able to have a big, major, crowd-pleasing movie like this. Like, he thought he was going to have one with Oz the Great and Powerful, which, by the way, I like Oz the Great and Powerful. I like that movie. It's not like Sam Raimi's best, but I like that movie quite a bit. And I know Raimi was very, very proud of that movie. As well he should be. Okay, let's keep going on here. King Tane writes, I always looked at the end of Loki as different from Multiverse, but Feige said tonight that the end of Loki made this multiverse in Strange possible. I'm confused. And again, somebody else just wrote pretty much the exact same thing. It is a little bit confusing because those timelines don't line up. Like the Ancient One has talked about, there's been a multiverse for a very long time. The events of Loki is relatively in the recent history, around the time of the first Avengers movie. So a lot of that doesn't make sense. But again, we're saying it doesn't make sense when we only have a small amount of the information. Maybe we'll be going, oh my God, this makes total sense once we get ahead and actually see the movie itself. All right. Next up, we've got David D., who sends in one. He writes, theory, Doctor Strange died defeating Thanos in the multiverse, in the Illuminati universe, hence the statue. That's an interesting theory. So Iron Man lives in that one and becomes superior Iron Man, so we get the Ultron bots. Ooh, you know what? That is, I know a bunch of stuff about the movie. That is something I know nothing about, but I do like that theory. I do like that theory quite a bit. So that's not bad, David. I like where your head's at on that. That I could very well buy into that one. I very well could buy into that one. All right. Next up, Joseph Curtis writes, "Hey, John, love your show. Thank you so much. And I love you. Thank you. Do you think Wanda will die in Doctor Strange 2? I will give it a 30% chance. I will give it a 30% chance that Wanda dies in Doctor Strange 2. 30%. So that's a pretty decent chance. Now, here's the thing. With Multiverse, it doesn't matter. And listen, I know this isn't the popular thing to say, but one of the things that makes me not like Multiverse much is that Multiverse takes away all consequences. There are no consequences. Because you ask if Wanda dies. Well, there's probably going to be about 10 Wandas. And even if one of them dies, even if the one we know dies, it doesn't matter. There's 1,000 other realms of the multiverse where one of those Wandas can come in and be our new Wanda. There, Wanda's back. And that's the one thing about Multiverse that I do find very frustrating, is that it utterly and completely takes away all sense of consequences. There is no consequences anymore. Even if a favorite character dies, no problem. We can get another one that looks just like them right in here in just a second. Look at Gamora. I mean, that's more of a time travel thing, but still, you get what I'm saying, right? Like Gamora had this big emotional death at the end of, right near the end of Infinity War, right? Oh no, such a sad ending for Gamora. Huge consequences. Big, you know what? No big deal. Next movie, look everybody, Gamora's back. And you can try to play semantics, go, well, technically, John, it's a different Gamora. It looks exactly like her. It sounds exactly like her. It's her. It's her. No consequences. And so, like, that's why I'm saying as high as 30% that Wanda could die, because the Marvel and the multiverse here, they can easily kill her, and it doesn't matter because they can just have 25 other Wandas take her place, and boom, Wanda's back. Right? So that gives them a lot of flexibility. So that's why I'll go as high as 30%. I'll go as high as 30%. So we'll see. All right. Next up. Let's see. Josh Becker writes, John, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Do you think Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will have better magic scenes than Infinity War or the first Doctor Strange? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I saw the first 20 minutes of this movie and there was a lot of magic wielding. Like a hell of a lot of magic wielding. Like a lot of magic wielding in the first 20 minutes. So I'll go ahead and make a guess and say that probably stays consistent through the rest of the movie. So yeah, probably there will be. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Josh. Next up, Jay Master writes, hey, John, did you see the one TV spot Marvel released of Captain Carter throwing her shield to Doctor Strange? I did. Although I haven't been avoiding the TV spots. I just don't go out of my way to watch them. Like, I watch all the trailers, but once we start getting close to a movie and they start, a lot of movies, particularly Marvel, they start releasing new TV spots every day, right? Especially once we get to within about 2 weeks of the movie coming out, I just don't bother clicking on or watching those TV spots. I don't avoid them. It's not like I go, if somebody comes up and says, hey, John, look at this new TV spot. I don't go, no, I don't do that. It's just that I don't go out of my way to watch them. Like if new trailers, I will. But yeah, we'll see. Now, hold on a second here. Let me check something out. Just one moment. Okay, give me 1 second because we might be getting our first reactions here. But I'm just going to do a quick check here to see if this is legitimate. And it looks legitimate. It looks legitimate. So hold on a second here. Let me see if I can get this in place. We might be getting our first reactions. You know what? I'm going to call it. I think we are. Hold on a second, everybody. It looks like we've got our first reaction. All right, here we go, guys. Looks like we have one here. We've got one from somebody that I admittedly, this is why I had to double check. I'm not familiar with this person myself, but somebody named Gabriel Carvalho writes, had the honor of watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness tonight. Marvel was never as deep as this film. That has one of the action scenes of the entire franchise. Olsen might be the MVP. Her performance would give her an Oscar if the Academy was less conservative. Well, I don't know if that's exactly true. I think the Academy has shown that they have been very open to giving a lot of attention to comic book movies, especially lately. Of course, Logan got nominated for Best Screenplay at the Academy Award, first comic book movie to get nominated for that. Joaquin Phoenix won the Academy Award for Joker. Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture. Joker was nominated for Best Picture. So, I mean, that thing about the Academy does nominate that kind of stuff, and they're all this conservative, does not really mean a lot. Okay. We got one or two other reactions coming out right now, but they look completely fake, so I'm not going to buy into that at all. Although there is a great picture from the premiere tonight. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Here's the cast at the premiere tonight. That was from just a few hours ago with the cast down there. So that looks like a lot of fun. I've been in there many, many, many times. So that looks a lot of fun. That's a sharp looking light. Not a lot of people rock the light gray suits anymore. Everybody likes to go with the darker colors with their suits. Benedict rocking that light gray suit right now. That looks pretty sweet. I like the looks of that. Okay, we will keep our eyes open to see if more of these start coming in here. But for now, let's get back over to your questions as we wait for more of these reactions to come in. Let's see here. Where are we at here? That was Jay Master. Next up, K Nico writes, will the multiverse allowed R-rated Marvel content? Also, love the studio. What happened with the 2018 studio? PD 3,000 subs by the end of the year. Yeah, we'll hit 300,000 subs within the next 2 or 3 months, I think, which would be a lot of fun. I'm not going to go into the whole 2018 studio. That's just nothing strange there. It's just too long of a story. No, Kevin Feige's already said he has no interest in doing R-rated content except for Deadpool, right? So Kevin Feige's already said that. He said he's not interested in R-rated content except for Deadpool. That's nobody mandating that. That was just him saying, I'm not interested in Marvel being R-rated. We have a tone and a feel for our films that make them the best films in the world. Why would we mess with that? So yeah, he's already kind of stated that a lot. So let's see here. It looks like we have another reaction, but I got to see if this is a legitimate reaction or not. Oh, it is. It's from the Flick Pick. I think this is legitimate. Okay. They're saying they love it. Sam Raimi written all over the film. A lot that happens and a lot that doesn't. Oh, he's saying he was a little bit underwhelmed, but he enjoyed it as a sequel. All right. A lot of emotional beats. The vision, they're saying the visuals are great. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so it seems like the one guy in gray loved it, and the other guy was like, it was okay, he said a little underwhelmed. He still liked it, but a little underwhelmed. Okay, there we go. So there we go with another official reaction. The one was great. This one is a little bit mixed. Not bad, but just a little bit mixed. So that's a good thing to keep in mind there. Okay, I think we're about to get a lot of these start flooding in here. So let's get through more of these questions while we can before we start to get the flood of the reactions. Jack McAlf writes, opened up TikTok yesterday and boom, big spoilers. Yeah, unfortunately, that's always true when a big new Marvel or DC or Star Wars movie is upon us. That happens, Jack. You just got to be careful around social media if you don't want to be spoiled. Jose Andres Estradavaca writes, Batman teams up with Ray against the moon. There you go. Let's see. XG writes, over under 30% that Aaron Taylor Johnson cameos. I'm going to go under 30%, but not a ton under 30%. Like I'd say over 10, but I'll go under 30 for now. Let's see what happens. Alex Von Gollum writes, I feel the movie will deal with the huge decisions by Doctor Strange has made, especially his plan in Infinity War. He might be questioned over the timeline implications of his choices. Can't wait to see it. Well, it's going to be interesting to find out, like when they, in the trailers, when we hear him talking about that, you know, oh, you opened up the multiverse and blah, blah, blah. Well, what are they talking about? Because remember, Doctor Strange doesn't actually remember the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Doesn't actually remember the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. So I don't know, you know, I'm not really completely sure what they mean by that. All right, I'm just double checking my email here because it looks like a couple of more reactions are starting to come in maybe. Let's keep our eyes. We've got one or two legitimate ones that came in here. All right, we've got one coming in here. Oh, we got one a member of the Critics' Choice Awards, Matt Nagilia. We have a legitimate reaction here, guys. We have a legitimate reaction in here. Here we go. Legitimate reaction from Doctor Strange. This is from again Matt Naglia, who writes in, a member of the Critics' Choice Awards, wrote, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a disappointing entry in the MCU for me. Sam Raimi's love of horror and imaginative camera work are present, but they often clash with Marvel's secure style. Lots of underwhelming writing decisions are likely going to divide the fandom. So this is from a member of the Film Critics Society saying, hey, you know what? Don't love what we just saw. So there's something to keep in mind there. Okay, let's see if we got another one here. We're going to check out. Remember, I'm expecting some of these to be fake, but that one looks like a legitimate one. So that's a couple of, you know, iffy ones. Oh, this one we already saw. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. I think we got another one. Of course, this is me all just doing this live by myself, guys. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Grace Randolph writes, we know Grace. Peep's going to be heavily divided on this one. Love it or hate it. Review tomorrow. So we're getting word that maybe a lot of people are going to feel kind of mixed about it. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? We've got one from, let's see here. This one from Liam Crowley. And Liam writes, Doctor Strange throws a lot at the wall, some sticks, surprisingly simple narrative, some falls flat, mostly with CGI. Olsen crushes it, but Gomez is my rock star. Cumberbatch really feels like the anchor of the MCU throughout. Not perfect, but a worthwhile experience at MCU Direct. So again, what we're hearing so far, we've only gone through about 5 or 6 of the reactions so far. And I got to tell you, I'm surprised because the first 20 minutes of this movie were fantastic. I don't know, maybe this is why they only showed us the first 20 minutes of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Maybe it's just the first 20 minutes that are really great. All right, by the way, we got another new legitimate one. Breaking news, another new fully legitimate one, another member of the Film Critics Society. This is a friend of mine, a buddy of mine named Eric Davis over at Fandango. And Eric Davis writes, by far the creepiest, gnarliest, zaniest, most haunting and terrifying Marvel movie. Multiverse of Madness definitely brings the Sam Raimi horror vibes, and I love that about it. Danny Elfman's music is a perfect fit for the film's odd, mysterious tone, and Elizabeth Olsen is the MVP in my opinion. Okay, so Eric loved it. Sounds like Eric had a really, really good time with it. So that's good to hear. So chalk one up for Eric, having loved it. Let's see, we've got more coming in now. So yeah, the screening is absolutely over. The reactions are flooding in. Let's see here. Let's see, what do we got here? We got a Rotten Tomatoes verified critic in Emmanuel Eman Noisetti, who writes, Doctor Strange 2 felt like an instant upgrade to the first. That's good to hear. Raimi's horror is on point. Wanda was scary, not for little kids, by the way. Olsen keeps that award pressure on. Cumberbatch was solid. Cameos are spectacular. This legit pushes the MCU to the next level. All right, so we're starting to hear a couple of really solid ones, a couple of big ones. This is good because we've already heard a couple of mixed ones and some people saying, hey, some people are going to like it, some people are not. Okay, let's see. We've got some more coming in here. The next reaction we've got up for Doctor Strange is... Let's see here. That was the same one that we just had from Eric Davis. All right, here. Let's see. This one comes to us. That's one that we've already seen. Now we're getting some repeat ones come in now. Keeping my eyes open here. That's one we've already saw. Okay, so now I'm just getting the same 4 or 5 being sent to me right now. So, but don't worry, guys. I'm keeping my eyes on this thing. We're going to see. Oh, I think this is a new one. I think this one might be a new one. Okay, this one is a verified viewer as well. Let's see what they have to say about this. This is not Eric. Sorry, where's what's the one I was looking for? There we go. Eric Italiano, Forza Italia, writes, Multiverse of Madness very much feels like both a Sam Raimi movie and a day in the life of Doctor Strange. It's the MCU formula perfected, in my opinion. Despite the franchise / multiversal implications and reveals, the film is very much self-contained and focused on its own story and style. That's very interesting to hear. That's really focusing on its bigger story than it has about the larger implication stuff. So that's good to hear. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. We're going to keep looking for some more reactions here. Okay, let's see what we got here. That was one we've already got. Yeah, people are keeping their eyes open very tightly on this thing here. Let's see. Another one in here is Caitlin Booth, I think it says. Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen for a second. Okay, what do we got here? Caitlin Booth wrote, Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness makes some creative decisions that I disagree with, but overall it's pretty good. Horror was the right direction, and there are some genuinely creepy scenes. The pacing can be a bit weird, but it's never boring, which is good. Okay, again, we're not hearing overwhelmingly fantastic stuff. Not overwhelmingly fantastic stuff, but some good stuff, some solid stuff, which is good to hear. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's see. By the way, thank you to everybody who's keeping their eyes open on the Twitter sphere and letting us know about these reactions that they come out. And you guys, this is a community effort, guys. It's not just me. This is a community effort. You guys are doing this with me as well. Okay, let's see what else we got here. These are new ones coming in. This one's coming into us from The Film Drunk. And The Film Drunk writes, oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on, let me get this in here. There we go. The Film Drunk writes, just watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And out of all the surprising things in this movie, the most surprising is that the MCU actually let Sam Raimi cook a little bit. So much fun. Yeah, I heard that going in. And from some of the stuff that I saw, it definitively both look like an MCU movie and a Sam Raimi movie, right? And that's kind of what we're hoping to see. We're hoping to see very much both of those. We want it to be a Sam Raimi movie and we want it to be an MCU movie. So thanks a lot for sending that in. Okay, let's keep going here. Next up, we've got another one here. Let's see if it's a repeat or one that's new. No, that's one we've already seen. Okay. Again, guys, I'm just very methodically going through these one at a time, trying to make sure I'm bringing you legitimate ones that aren't BS and stuff like that. All right, here we go. This is another certified film critic we've got coming on here. So we'll give a little breaking news music for the certified ones. All right, this is Diego Andules who writes, and that's not what we're looking for there. There it is. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a wild, cameo-filled ride. Elizabeth Olsen stands out with an incredible performance, and Sam Raimi delivers a marvelous visual spectacle infused with personality and a breakneck pace that would have benefited from a stronger structure. Okay, so again, good. Not fantastic, but good. And you guys know me. All I'm looking for in a movie is good. Give me a good time. As long as I have a good time, then that's all that matters to me. So maybe that's what this one's giving us. I mean, I'm not hearing a lot of this is the greatest movie of all time sort of feel, but people do seem to be liking it. Okay, let's see here. Still looking for more. And we get this one open. And this one is so somebody from the MCU Direct who writes, this is the Fist of Feige who writes, wrong one. Again, wrong one. Let me get this in here. Fist of Feige writes, Multiverse of Madness is the most unbelievable Marvel movie ever made. Well, this obviously sounds like the biggest one yet. All gas, no brakes, with every scene more shocking than the last. Marvel Studios shows that they are not afraid to push the limit, every limit imaginable. The Doctor Strange franchise is completely unleashed. Now, of course, take this with a grain of salt that this is somebody from an outlet called MCU Direct, so there may be a little bit of bias there, but this is easily the most positive review we've seen come across this thing yet. Okay, let's keep things going here. We've got more reactions coming in from the screenings tonight. Let's see. And where are we at here? There we are. We have opening, and this is this a legit one? Okay, yeah, this is a legit one. Okay, let's see. We've got, and again, wrong thing I keep bringing up. This is Aaron Caboose, who writes, potentially just witnessed the most insane second act for any Marvel movie. Multiverse of Madness is a visually mind-bending, visceral, flat-out thrilling movie. Dare I say it's maybe the MCU's most violent film. Happy to report as well that this has Raimi's footprint all over it. 9 out of 10. Okay, so we're hearing now the first 5 or 6 ones that we heard were not the best, right? A couple straight up saying they didn't like it. A couple maybe saying they were a bit disappointed with it, but also many they're saying that, hey, yeah, it's good. But we're starting to hear a couple of ones that are saying they really liked it and actually think it's great now. So that's positive. That's good. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Let's see. Where are we at? This is another new one here. This one is from Andrew Cobman, who writes, I loathed the first Doctor Strange movie. I actually quite liked the first Doctor Strange movie, but the Multiverse of Madness was pretty rad. The MCU has reached a level of redundancy for me lately, but this was just a fun 2 hours with enough Raimi camera movement to keep me entertained. Full review at 9. I don't know whatever that means for whatever time zone that they're in, but there we go. Another positive one. Chalk that one up for Multiverse of Madness. All right. Eric Davis's we've already got. This is another one that we already got. Let's see here. This looks like a new one. Hold a second. Let me verify this. Oh, no, that's one we've already had. Okay. Again, we're getting some repeats on here. There's another repeat. There's another repeat. I think some people might be late getting their reactions up because right after the screening is done, of course, there is the after party. So a lot of people are probably making their way over to the after party. I'm just taking a guess here, but we're seeing some repeats here. Let's see here. We've got Drew Singleton, who writes, let me see if I can get this. Drew Singleton writes this. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness felt very off to me. It was as if the movie had been edited to hell and back so it fit with what lies ahead in the MCU. Cool heroes and surprises and surprise appearances can only go so far. Full review soon. All right, so there's another one that isn't so glowing right now. Again, I think it's safe to say right now, the majority of these reviews are all heavily leaning positive, right? Not a lot of, except for somebody whose actual Twitter handle is MCU, but not a lot of like super, this thing is ultimately fantastic, but a lot of very good, solid reviews here with a couple of them, you know, not being so great right now. All right, let's see here. We got one from somebody who used to work for me, actually, Perry Nemiroff. Perry is a tragically underutilized talent in this space. By the way, you can tell her I said that. She's a tragically underutilized talent in this space. Anyway, Perry Nemiroff writes, Doctor Strange, Marvel made a horror movie. It's weird, scary, and earns the title Multiverse of Madness. If you were at all concerned this movie wouldn't feel Sam Raimi enough, fear not. I can't imagine a more Sam Raimi MCU film. My genre-loving heart is bursting right now. And you know what? Even amongst the people that are saying right now that they didn't love Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, they're all saying, but this is definitively a Sam Raimi film. And I think that's going to be exciting to a lot of people because I think a lot of people, when they heard Sam Raimi was doing it, got excited, but thought, you know, there's not a lot of room for individuality over at Marvel because Kevin Feige ultimately really controls everything that happens in the movies there. So a lot of people wondered, is it going to feel like a Sam Raimi film? And it sounds like the vast majority of people are saying, this is definitely a Sam Raimi film, and I think that's a good thing. All right, got time for a couple more. You know what, before we take a few more, let's go over and get through some more of the thoughts and suggestions and things that you guys have been sending in here. Let's see. I think we had Alex Von Gollums already. Marvel Fan 101 writes, Simply need to post-credit scene to be John Krasinski accepting the directing job for Fantastic Four while in his Reed Richards costume. Love your show and thanks for all you do. Well, thank you so much. Of course, I think there's a solid 20% chance, 15 to 20% chance that John Krasinski ends up being the director for Fantastic Four. Well, we'll find that out soon enough. I'm not really sure. But that would, Marvel Fan 101, be one hell of a post-credit scene if that was the post-credit scene. All right. Jack Furstensberg. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sure I butchered it, Jack. Sorry about that. I'm a little worried that Doctor Strange might get sidelined in his own movie due to the overwhelming amount of characters. Love the new Office. Well, thank you so much. I love the new Office too. But you know what? All you got to do is look back at Captain America Civil War. Like, a lot of people call that movie Avengers 2.5, but it is definitively a Captain America movie, right? And that had all the characters in it. So if they were able to manage that okay with Civil War, I think they probably were able to manage it okay with Doctor Strange. And having seen the first 20 minutes of the movie, it didn't at all feel like Doctor Strange gets sidelined in his own movie. So I don't think you have anything to worry about there, Jack. All right. Next up, Alberto Marcias writes and sends like a $20 super chat. Thank you, Alberto, for supporting us on that level, man. One of the theories I read was that Kang the Conqueror would appear at the end of Doctor Strange, defeats Strange, and takes him as a prisoner, leading to Ant-Man Quantumania that involves rescuing Strange. Your thoughts? I mean, I think it's possible. I don't think they're going to cross that many streams, to be honest with you. But for all we know, that's exactly what I'm going to say this. I don't think that's what'll happen here. I don't think I buy into that theory, but it's not the craziest theory. It's not the craziest theory, Alberta. I mean, we could get in there and find out that's exactly what happens, right? We'll wait and see. All right. Next up, we got Solar Eclipse Productions who writes, unfortunately in my area, no midnight screening, but going to see Doctor Strange, nice, crisp and early, 10 a.m. on Thursday. I can't wait. So hyped for an early morning for once. Well, listen, that is like, why would you want a midnight screening? The 10 a.m. screening is like way sooner than the midnight screening. Because remember, it opens Friday. So if they were doing midnight screenings, you'd have to wait until midnight on Thursday. But now you get it at 10 a.m. on Friday? So you're getting to see it way earlier. That to me is way, way better, Solar Eclipse. Okay, let's now move over and see if we've got some more reactions coming in here. I'm going to take a look and see what we have. We are going over and looking at... that's once we already saw Perry's, so we don't have to worry about that one. Let's see, open with, we got one. Oh, our friend of the channel, Sean Chandler. You know, I've never met Sean, but he's quite generous and really nice. Reaches out to me on social media quite a bit. And really cool, a cool guy on there. Anyway, Sean Chandler had a chance to see it. And this is what Sean Chandler had to say about it. That, of course, is Perry's reaction. Sean, all right. What does Sean say? Sean says, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness is the blend of MCU, accessibility, and Raimi's Evil Dead 2 that I didn't know that I needed. Starts off with the familiar MCU tone. I can attest to that, having seen the first 20 minutes, but adds a lot more horror and weird in the back half. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you know what? I wonder if that's the reason some people are a little put off by it. Because, you know, when a movie does something that you were looking for the movie to do one thing, you thought you were getting one thing, and you get something totally different, that can be discombobulating a little bit, right? To our senses. That can be very discombobulating to our senses. So I wonder, I'm not making excuses, I'm just asking the question. I wonder if the horror twist in the second half of the film, which what it's sounding like, that's what it does. I wonder if that's throwing some people off. Again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just putting this out there that I wonder that. All right, let's see if there's any more here. Let's see. We've got one from Warren who writes, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is the wildest Marvel movie yet. It's crazy good and it is gruesome. Well, we're hearing from a couple of people that this may be the most violent of the movies so far. Like the most violent of the movies so far. So, I mean, that sounds like it's a pretty common refrain that we're hearing from a lot of people. All right. And my friend, Marshall Weinbaum, that isn't Marshall. Let me bring up Marshall. Let me see what Marshall has to say. Marshall says, I love the new Doctor Strange film for a multiverse of reasons. I get that, multiverse of reasons. But the biggest one is that it's such a fantastic follow-up to the one of my all-time favorite shows, WandaVision. Somehow Wanda Maximoff snuck up to become my favorite character in the MCU, and I can't get enough of her. And this is from a friend of mine, Marshall Weinbaum. Now, I will let you guys know that you got to take this one with a little grain of salt. Marshall is one of the coolest people I know in the industry. I love the guy. That said, you do have to take his reaction with a little bit of salt because Marshall is himself a publicist for Disney. Not figuratively, I mean literally. That is Marshall's job. He is a publicist for Disney. But listen, Marshall also only gives his purely honest reviews and his purely honest opinion of things. But I should let you know, reading this reaction, you should know this reaction is coming from a literal employee of Disney. That doesn't mean he's not telling you the truth. It's just something you need to keep in mind a little bit about that. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. Next up, let's see who else I can find here. It looks like I got another one here. This one, nope, this one isn't working. Hold on a second. Come on now. I got one here that says, don't worry, Sam Raimi fans. This comes from Carl. Don't worry, Sam Raimi fans. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness fully goes horror. Jump scares, body horror, and a smattering of diabolical kills. It fits the MCU, but has Raimi's deranged, creepy, campy, groovy DNA all over it. Start the Elizabeth Olsen Oscar campaign. That's pretty cool to hear. An Elizabeth Olsen Oscar campaign. I like the sounds of that. Sign me up for that. All right. Let's go back over and get some more of the questions that you guys have sent in here. Let's see. We've got... Oh, I'm losing my spot here already. There we go. Marvel Mania writes... If I can get this up here. There we go. Marvel Mania writes, if the movie doesn't have a ton of cameos, will people be let down? I hope the movie isn't a victim of over-the-top fan expectation theories. But here's the thing. Look, I'll be honest with you. If you're let down because a movie didn't have a ton of cameos, good. Cameos don't make a movie good. All right? A well-used cameo can be a nice little side seasoning, but if you're going into a movie thinking, in order for this movie to be good, it has to have these useless cameos, then I hope you're disappointed. I know that doesn't sound very friendly of me to say, but I hope you're disappointed because that's dumb. All right. So no, look, what ultimately will make people happy or unhappy is not the presence of cameos or the lack of cameos. If the movie's good, no one's going to care if there's a bunch of cameos. If the movie's good, no one's going to care if there's a lack of cameos. You know, if the movie's bad, a bunch of cameos ain't going to make it better. If the movie's bad, it won't be bad because there was cameos. You know what I'm saying? So it really doesn't really matter all that much. All right. Next up, where are we at here? Next up, we've got Hoopsuni. Writes in, he says, I really do not want Tom Cruise in this movie. I know I will not be able to see whatever character it is, just Tom Cruise. But here's the thing. You think that, but give yourself a little bit of credit. Like maybe at first what you see is Tom Cruise, but maybe after that you just get over that and see him. Again, I don't think we're going to see Tom Cruise in this movie. At least that's just me. All right. We got another reaction coming in here. We haven't played the breaking news thing here for a second. So here's some breaking news. We got another one, another new reaction in here. And this comes from a friend of mine, Christian Harloff, who, by the way, you're going to see Christian Harloff on the John Campea Show on Friday. So my buddy Christian is going to come in. Now that we've got our brand new studio, Christian is going to come in here and be on the show on Monday. So let's see what Christian had to say. But he was texting me as he was heading out to go to this thing. Christian wrote the following. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a crazy movie. Visually, it's a movie that should be seen in theaters. Definitely a lot of horror elements as promised. Emotionally, I'm not sure if I'm as attached as I wanted to be, but I definitely enjoyed watching this one. And you know what? That doesn't sound too terribly unlike what a lot of people have been saying about this. Like maybe not completely onto me, whatever, but this is a fun movie to watch. I'm not sure if I'm as attached as I want to be, but I definitely enjoyed the movie and watching this one. So maybe I'll ask him a little bit about more of his thoughts on Doctor Strange, again, when he's in here on Friday. So we're looking for, because that's when we're probably going to do our full review. Like we'll give our first reactions on Thursday once we get out of the screening on Thursday, me and the whole crew, but we'll do our full review on Friday, and that's when Christian's going to be here. So we will review the movie together. There you go. Okay. Let's get back over there and get some more of what you guys have been writing in and asking about. We get, I think we already had Hoopsuni. Yes, we already did have Hoopsuni. Now we've got Matt Tween writes, I like that username. This is going to be bonkers. Any chance for a Kang post-credit appearance? Well, look, there's a chance for anything. There's a chance that Robert Downey Jr. shows up. There's a chance that Batman shows up. I mean, if you're asking if there's any chance Kang could show up, absolutely there's a chance. I don't expect it. But is it possible? It absolutely is possible. Okay, let me just check on something here. We've got Comic Book is trying to pull together all the initial reactions. So let's go over right now and see what Comic Book is writing about this. Right now, give me a second to see if I can get this put together here properly. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Let's go over and take a look here. So comicbook.com has been pulling some of the ones together. We got Jenna Anderson, who wrote in, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness rules. It's inventive, truly weird, and absolutely a joyride to watch. I didn't realize how much the MCU needed something like this. I will have so many more thoughts over Comic Book very soon. So that's one of their own writers writing that. AJ, the movie podcast, writes, Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness is a full-on spectacle. Sam Raimi weaves an exhilarating story, creating a visual experience like no other. Benedict elevates Strange to another level, and Elizabeth Olsen delivers a powerful performance that's truly horrifying. I mean, that's one of the common refrains we're hearing here, is that everybody is saying that Elizabeth Olsen is absolutely fantastic in it. Like some people even saying, get the Oscar campaign ready. So whether that's true or not, we will find out, but that's a positive thing to hear. Shabazz writes, Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness is a fever dream that only Sam Raimi could tell. Twisted, stunning, and mesmerizing. Describe the performance by Cumberbatch, Olsen, and the kaleidoscope visuals on screen. Xochitl Gomez will be a crowd favorite. By the way, I have no idea if I'm saying her name properly, because this is one of those names that I've read a million times, but I've never heard anybody say. I've never heard anybody say it. I've only read her name a million times. So I'm pronouncing it as Xochitl. I hope I'm saying it right. If I'm not, I'm sure I will be corrected soon enough. All right. Let's see here. Daniel Baptista writes, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is Marvel at their best. Sam Raimi delivers a fast-paced superhero horror with dazzling visuals and magical moments fans will remember forever. Cumberbatch and Olsen deliver their strongest MCU performances, and Xochitl Gomez is the future. But again, they feature her a lot, America Chavez, in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and they're really good. Film poster Josie Marie writes, ultimately wasn't a big fan of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Okay, so here's another balanced one out. Ultimately wasn't a big fan of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but one thing's for sure, it's a stylistic buffet. Started off rather tame. I actually really liked the starting of it, but it got crazier as it went on, had some laughs, fun visuals, and an entertaining score. All right, we're going to go back over now. We got a few more questions to get through here, so let's keep going through a few more here. JB Bonificio writes, what do you think of Marvel Studios disabling all comments for their socials on Multiverse of Madness? Yeah, so, and by the way, JB sent in like a $20 super chat to be supportive. Thank you for that, JB. So for those of you who didn't hear about this, Marvel disabled all commenting on their social media channels. And that's to be expected. I mean, they probably want to limit the amount of outlets that people have to go and drop spoilers for people, particularly if they're going to go visit Marvel's official. Like, Marvel doesn't want the Marvel movies spoiled on Marvel's official social media channels. If people are going to get spoiled, they want it to be elsewhere. They don't want people to feel that they can't go to Marvel's social media channels and be safe there. So that was probably a good move on their part, to be honest. All right, next up, we got Chuck the Mystery who writes, John, any final predictions for weekend box office? I'm going to say, you know, Ray is predicting 266. And if this movie makes 266, I have to buy him a hot toy. But I don't think it's going to get there, but it's going to make a lot of money. I'm going to go 203. I'm going to guess 203. And I think that's high. I think I'm going too high, but we'll find out. All right, Big D Studios writes, seeing Multiverse of Madness Thursday and Friday night, what are your final cameo predictions? Well, it would be unfair of me to say because I actually already know a bunch of the cameo things, so I'm not going to give anything in there, but I just hope they don't overdo the cameos. Just please don't overdo them. That's all I ask. All right, Jordan G writes, how did you get your start in this line of work? Well, right now we're here to talk about Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. If you want to know how I got started, there's a video on YouTube called getting started, how to get started in YouTubing, podcasting, and blogging. Just search YouTube for John Campea Getting Started, and you'll find a video there, and I give my answer to that. All right, Kevin Joyce writes, looking forward to the speculation that this film drives. I'm sure a lot of groundwork will be laid for future properties, good discussion fodder. I mean, that's always one of the fun things about an MCU movie, right? It's not just the movie itself, it's then all the possibilities about what could be coming down the road with Marvel as a result of that new Marvel movie, whatever that new Marvel movie is. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of that with Doctor Strange. All right. Scott Edward writes, do you think there is a hidden villain in the film, or is it all Wanda? Do you think Kang might appear in the credit scene? I'm not expecting Kang showing up. I'm not expecting Kang showing up at all. But if he is, I'm just going to say I don't think Kang's in it. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility, but I don't think he will be. And, my guess for years has been that Wanda is the villain in Doctor Strange 2. That's been my guess for a long time. Now, whether or not I'm right about that, who knows? We'll find out as we get closer, once we actually see the movie on Thursday. All right, let's see here. Michael Antonucci writes, I just hope the critic score for this movie won't be like what happened with the Eternals. I mean, yeah, I really like Eternals. It's not my favorite of the MCU movies. It's not in the top 5 or anything of my favorite MCU movies, but I really liked Eternals. I thought it was very creative and different, and I was very sad to see that not more critics agreed with me on that. I actually had a really good time with it. But, it's such a different MCU movie that I knew it wasn't going to be for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. That's the beauty of movies. All right, Jacob Love writes, what is the general Rotten Tomatoes rating that you are hoping that Doctor Strange will get? Well, I'm hoping it'll get 100%, right? I'm hoping it'll get 100%. That's not realistic. I expect it to come in around, from what we're hearing tonight, I'm expecting 76%. No, 79. From what we are hearing tonight, I'm going to go out and say 76%. Yes, 76. That's going to be my guess. My guess is by Monday, the Rotten Tomatoes things, again, I haven't seen the movie yet. I've only seen the first 20 minutes, right? So maybe I'll change my mind once I have had a chance to see the whole thing. But just based on what I'm hearing tonight, my guess is going to be around 76. I think. So we'll see. All right. Now, just a bunch of super chats people sent. Our friend Murray Reich sends in a super chat. John Iverson, Mr. 47, Marie Seifring all send in super chats. Thank you so much for that, guys. And guys, listen. I just saw in the live chat, MMA Mike says, John, I had the same number, 76. There you go. Guys, that'll wrap it up for our reaction watches. The reactions are coming in hot and heavy right now. The vast majority of people are saying they like it, which is great to hear. So that's totally great. People are saying they like it, they enjoy it. And so that's totally the most important thing. A number of people writing saying it's not really for them, didn't quite work for them. Some other people saying they like the film, but it's not their favorite. They didn't get super attached to it. So yeah, maybe not the most overwhelming response we were kind of hoping to hear from Doctor Strange, but the important thing is it sounds like the vast majority of the people who are writing in are saying things like they like it. So, I mean, that's all that really matters. It sounds like this is going to be a pretty positively received film. Again, I'm guessing $203 million on the weekend. Could be it, but listen, anything over $140 million has got to be considered a huge win. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here tonight as we have kept our eyes on the reactions coming out. Of course, we're going to talk about all the reviews and reactions on the John Campea Show tomorrow. We're going to break them down a little bit more and talk about that more in depth from our new studio. Come and join us in our new studio tomorrow. I hope you guys will. And for now, that will do it to us. A big special thank you to all you guys for joining us, and for those of you who sent in the super chats, for giving us fun things to talk about, and for supporting our channel at the same time. Big thank you to all of you guys who are our channel members. Thank you so much for being our channel members. I hope you guys had a chance to join us for our special channel members only Q&A that we did a little bit earlier today. And yeah, guys, that'll do it for us for tonight. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. We'll see you guys in the morning. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye. One more time with the music.